I have made some significant improvements, at least I hope they're improvements. They help me. My clients seem to like them, to the monthly reporting process.
Okay.
So one of the steps here, after you've gotten all your analytics set up, you got your dashboard set up. Dashboard is for you, not for the client necessarily, right? Because the dashboard is more of a troubleshooting thing. But the monthly report, my old boss used to say the monthly report is what people pay for. Because that is where you show them what they've gotten for what you've done.
And so you have that in Data Studio? Okay, I don't know if I feel like I have that, but I don't think I'm using it because I
just changed it maybe a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So let me see if I can create one without betraying too much. Oh, I can just do this. So this is going to use Google Analytics sample data. So it's going to be a little incomplete. Well, so a couple things that I changed. Come on, load up. Okay. So this is designed to be a big overview to send to clients, and what you can do is from here you can schedule mail delivery.
Yeah, I've done that in Google Data Studio for some other things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I've written a boilerplate email that can apply to every client. Hey, here's a copy of what's happened in your account the last month. And then I say, let's set up a time, talk about this. And I send my Calendly link to set up a meeting to discuss this report. Why I like that is that makes me have a deadline by which I need to have the answers to the questions they're going to ask by looking at this report. Okay. So that's the boilerplate that goes in when they get a copy. The copy they get is a PDF so they could print and give to their boss or whoever is paying the bills, or the digital version where they can monkey with things like the date range and change the entire report.
Yeah.
But things I've added, I created two different reports. One is overall and one is limited to SEO. Because most of my clients are at least doing an SEO campaign. I do have some paid search clients that I set up a separate AdWords campaign report for them, but that's kind of outside the scope of Curious Sands. Yeah. So I try to keep it simple. How many people found us, how they found us, and what they do once they found us. So this is using Google Shops sample data. And I also added some descriptions. So if someone were to read this, they could say, well, what the heck am I looking at?
Yeah, I like that.
But you obviously, you can edit and modify this, but if you just sent this to your clients, I think they would find it valuable.
Yeah,
so then I created, so the first one is overall, which, let me go back there a second. Hey, that's great. But because I focus on search and SEO, I really want to zone in on one. Now, I just did one with one client today. I went through this with the client. It was great because I've never in the past shared them where all their traffic is coming from. And they're very interested in that because they keep throwing ideas to me. What about LinkedIn? What about this? And I could show them 75% of their traffic comes from organic search.
Yeah.
Right. And I could also show them how many convert from organic search, because the middle shows conversion rate based on your channel. Now, this is just all direct traffic because it's a Google store, but
yeah,
if this would be dynamically populated when you import a different thing.
Question. So I know that we can share and set up these reports to go to be sent at a specific date and time. Do you have to do that? Is it for the whole report, or do you have to do it first for overall and then for the SEO on the left?
This is considered one entire report that includes 2 pages.
Okay.
So,
perfect.
Yeah. So that is, so because there's this, the sample data does not have full data, like they don't want to show how much traffic they got in the Google store last month.
Yeah.
So that's why this comes out looking like, but it follows the same premise, right?
Yeah.
How people found us from SEO, when did they find us? So this is going to show a graph of the time when they found us and a graph of when the goals happened. And then whether they do after finding us. This is so the same idea, but I'll go back to this report. One of the things I added is a comparison metric, because the key with this report is 14,000 good or bad. For the Google store, 14,000 might be bad. For your and I stuff, wow, we'd be really excited if we got 14,000 visits in a month, right? Or goals in a month, because it's 46,000 users. But so the value is, hey, this is up 6% from the last 28 days.
Yeah.
So my idea here is I usually take 2 or 3 hours per client to create the report. But what this does is gives them something to see. They can go into as much depth as they want. And because of the message I send them, they can then decide whether or not they want to go into more depth by having a schedule a meeting with me.
Yeah.
And so I highly recommend sending this to each client, or at least setting it up for your own site, so that you can take a step back every month and say, well, is this working?
Yeah.
Or what's working, what's not? Now, the next step for this is I'd like to create a third tab for Google My Business.
Yeah. Oh, so yes. So tell me, the main way that I am looking at that is through the UTM codes, simply because that's the best way to track like the clicks, and I add it to everything. It's for the profile link, the post, the product, all that stuff. So is that something that you could set up like a separate, I mean, like I print a report, but it doesn't look all pretty like this.
So you totally could, but what you would do is you would filter the report. So in this case, I'm basically taking the same data as on this report, but I've set up a filter to only show organic on this page. So you could then create a third page that shows only data from one or two of the parameters that you've set in Google using the UTM code through Google My Business.
Okay.
So you could really show this exact same report. How many people found us from Google My Business? When did they find us, and what did they do? Because what the UTM code is overrides what would be the default tracking source for that visitor. So we talked about this last time. You don't have to do anything special to track goals from Google My Business if you're UTM coding everything.
Yes. Okay.
So you could just basically copy this report and change the data to say only, and so what would be important for you is to make sure your UTM codes are consistent and always using the same source and medium, so that when you did filter this, it would only use that source medium. Or you could say, source Google, medium, organic, and then campaign Google My Business, and you could just limit to the particular campaign.
So can you limit it to, do you have, let me see. So I do mine Google Maps and organic. Do I have to put the third one in? Can I have that be blank and it would pull in anything that said Google Maps organic?
Technically, that would be, yes, you could, but technically they require a campaign.
Well, I do it when I do my UTM code, but I'm talking about for the report.
Yeah, so let's look at this, for example. So this is the view. We click the edit button. and we can go to a data point. And it opens up this is the scorecard. You can see this is limited to the default Google traffic. So we can add a segment, and we can create a custom segment. Heck, we could limit it only to Firefox users if we wanted. You could added segments. So you have to create a segment in Google Analytics, and it will import that. So, like, for instance, if I only wanted to see United States users, I could change this report to only show US. And so now it's only US. So this is no longer organic search. This is now US. So you would just have to go into Google Analytics, create a segment, which would be really easy to do. And with that segment, limit it to whatever campaign or whatever unique variables that accompany only Google My Business traffic.
Okay. I'll have to work on that, and I may have some follow-up questions.